Dear friends, welcome to the family of Knowledge World. I hope you people are doing good. So sorry, I could not upload a lecture for a week. So, friends, in the last lecture, we discussed regarding the Charter Act of 1813 and 1793, if I'm not wrong. So now, friends, we are in the second last lecture of the first part of the evolution of the Indian Constitution. Okay. But before this, I like to request you all to please subscribe the channel, share, like, and press the bell button so that people can get benefited through my lectures. So it's the responsibility of the students that you have to make sure that my lecture reaches to the people who are in need. Okay, so now we will begin the lecture. So today I'll give the lecture on two topics: the Charter Act of 1833 and the Charter Act of 1853. Okay, so let's begin with the Charter Act of 1833. Okay, the Charter Act of 1833 was passed by the British Parliament. So this Charter Act was passed in order to increase the company's activity or the company's rule in India for another 20 years. Okay, so historical background of the act. So the background of the act is that this act was passed due to various events happening in England. So as we know, at that time in England, there was industrial revolution which was going at a very high speed. Then there was liberal movements going around. Apart from that, you had the policy of, we had in England, they had the policy of laissez-faire. I think you are familiar with all these topics. If not, I'll explain in the next lecture. Please send me in the comments. Okay, so after that, British government felt to pass the Reform Act of 1832 in England. Okay, this act was passed in order to grant some reforms where the relaxation of property was made, that even small landowners were given right to vote and all those things. Okay, which we need not go in detail. That's what I feel. So due to all these events, the Charter Act of 1833 was passed in India. Okay, so the main provisions of the act: the Governor General was actually made the Governor General of whole India. Okay, the Governor General was actually made the Governor General of whole India, and Lord William Bentinck was made the first Governor General of such case. Okay, Lord William Bentinck was made the first Governor General. Second, first time, in the history, first time the governor's government was called as the Government of India, and his council was known as the India Council. Okay, and next one is the company's trading activities, that is, its commercial activities was ended. Now the company had no trading rights. It could not trade with anyone. It could, even the trade with China and OPMT that was granted in the Act of 1813 was also abolished. Now the company had only administrative functions throughout India. It could only administer the territory but not indulge in trade. Okay. Then next provision is the English could settle freely anywhere in India. It means that there was no restrictions for English to settle. They could construct a house or they could construct a fort, anything in the territory of India. Okay, and The act also provided that the steps should be taken to mitigate the slavery. So the steps were to be taken to mitigate the slavery, because at that time in England also there were steps which was taken to abolish the slavery. So here in India also the act mandated that some measures should be taken to abolish the slavery. Okay, and the act also established law commission. The law commission would codify all the Indian laws, and the chairman of the law commission was Lord Macaulay. Okay, the chairman of the law commission was Lord Macaulay. And also the act provided that anyone who is Indian would participate in the government jobs. There would be no race, no color. Okay, so this was the first step where Indians could participate in the government jobs. Okay, and you have the importance of the act. The importance of the act was first time in India the East India Company's activities, all the commercial activities got ended. Okay, and the second was the Indians were getting opportunities for their jobs. Okay, and the defects of the act. The defects of the act is, first is British formally recognized the colonization. It gave the English to settle and do activities in India freely. Okay, so this is, I gave you the gist of the Charter Act of 1833. Now we will move on to the Charter Act of 1853. Okay, the Charter Act of 1853 was passed by the British Parliament due to the recommendation of the Select Committee. Okay, the committee was appointed in order to inquire the functioning of the East India Company, as well as to recommend, because I'll give you the historical background. The historical background of the act was, at that time British territories became more large. The province of Sindh and Punjab also was included. So they needed measures to administer these territories. So that is the also reason why this act came into existence. Okay. The main provisions of the act. The main provisions are, first, the executive and legislative functions was separated. The executive and legislative functions was separated. The governor's council members was expanded to 12, out of which 6 were the members of the legislative council and other 6 were the member of executive council. The legislative council worked same like British Parliament. It followed the procedures. It could discuss the measures, it could discuss the policies, and it could refer to the Select Committee. Whereas the Executive Council had the policy to execute as well as to veto any decision passed by the Legislative Council. Okay. The Act also provided that there should be a separate Governor General for Bengal rather than the Governor General of India. Previously, what used to happen was the Governor General of Bengal would be the Governor General of India, but this Act provided that there would be separate Governor General of Bengal. Okay. Next, the Act gave the powers to the Court of Directors to alter the presidencies. This Court of Directors could appoint the Lieutenant Governors for the presidencies. For example, you have the presidency of Punjab. So Punjab was given as the LG province, the province of Lieutenant Governor. Okay. And next, the open competition. The Act provided the open competition for civil services. Previously, what used to happen was the civil service members, the civil servants was appointed through recommendations. This Act gave that there should be open and free competition for the members of civil services to be appointed. Okay, and one more provision is the Governors General Council also had a local members, whereas, for example, the members of the Bombay Presidency, Madras Presidency, and Bengal Presidency, and also some provinces of the Northwest, these members were represented in Governors Legislative Council. Okay, these these members were represented in the Governors Legislative Council. Okay, and the Board of Directors strength reduced. One second. One second. One minute. Yes, the board of directors members was reduced. Initially, it had 24 members, but due to the Charter Act of, it reduced to 18 and then to 6. And these 6 members should be appointed under the crown, means it should be nominated by the crown. Okay, and you have, yes. So friends, now we will discuss regarding the significance of the act. Okay, first time in India the parliamentary system like was adopted. So the Governors Legislative Council became the basis for the foundation of modern parliamentary government. Okay, the Governors Legislative Council became the basis for modern parliamentary government because it worked same like a British Parliament. Second, Indians now could compete for the civil services. Now Indians could compete in the exams for civil services and could get appointed. Unlike the previous policies of recommendations, now the Indian had free hand to go for civil services. Okay, and the shortcomings of the act. The first and foremost shortcoming is that there was no Indians in the Governors Council. So without having an Indian and ruling such a vast territory with the British people, that was the major hindrance for the administration because there was no native members. Okay, friends, we have come to the end of the lecture. If you have any doubt, you can comment, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our channel. Thank you.